Hello, welcome to VideoWorks, the playout of Young Tech. But in this video, I will demonstrate the entire system for you, from how to configure and how to use. So here we go. Well, on this main screen, we can see the entire system. So I will show you each configuration. Here on the left side, we have the file tree, where the ingested files will appear. In this middle field, it's where the files will appear, though there with some information for you to include in the script. And here on the right side, the script itself. In the upper right corner, we have the program, the PGM, where you will see the system output, the playout. And here we have various information on the screen, ranging from progressive, regressive, dates, time, how much time is left to finish the script, how to activate a logo, deactivate the logo, put information on the screen, a graphic character, activate streaming, control volume, and everything else the system offers. Well, the first step is to set up a script, okay? So let's go here, in this tab here, in this menu scripts, and let's go here. Look, new script without breaks. I will enter today's date and click OK. Here, it shows me the scripts that are already ready, okay? It saves with today's date, so I'll hit save. For us to start from scratch. After that, it will open a script module for us to start creating this script. You can have this module on any machine in your network, okay? So while the playout is running there, you can be on another machine doing the script for the next day, the week's script, speeding up, for example, the script for next month, right? In case you already have the schedule to make the skeleton of the script. Anyway, you can install this module on any machine in your network. But before that, I want to show you some configurations here in this system. Here in the company tab, company configuration is where you will fill in your company's information. So when you generate a report, it will already come fully filled with your logo, with your station slogan, with your corporate name, with your address, with your telephone number, with the email. This way, you will already identify in the header the information of your company. Here in the Users and Permissions tab, you can grant permission to your user. So you can create several users, and each user will have specific permissions within the system. I have a user who only generates reports. I have a user who does ingestion. I have a user who completely manages the system. So you can grant this permission to each user. I will close the tabs here, and let's continue. So first, we're going to do an ingest of some material, okay? So let's go. Here we have two classifications, like commercials and additional materials, okay? Commercials are the jingles, the institutional videos, the fillers, the actual commercials that were contracted, for example, by a supermarket chain, by a gas station. Anyway, you will classify these materials here. And the additional materials, we include recorded programs. So for example, the morning news, I'm just giving fictional names. Afternoon news, evening news, right? The afternoon show. So there, these programs will have block 1, block 2, right? Or a complete block. So we make this type of separation within our system. Why? Because in our system, when you leave material registered as commercial, the system automatically removes the logo from the air. So you can keep your logo activated for 24 hours here within the system. For example, here in the playout, this L1. So when a commercial comes in, the system will automatically deactivate this logo. You don't need to keep activating and deactivating it. When material that is registered as additional materials comes in, the system puts the logo back on air. Okay? Okay, so I'm gonna pick a file here from a folder to place into the system. Yeah, so I'm gonna take these two files here, for example, and do a Control-C. I'll go here on my computer, Drive C, Central Video Commercials, and paste this material here. Now we're going to catalog this material within the system. So I'll go back here to the module, go to registration and commercial registration. Oh boy. I'm coming here now to files, advanced, add new files in VideoWorks. Here, it already shows some folders I have in the system, right? So for example, if you don't have any folder in the system, you can cancel the operation there. Come here to edit, clients, insert a client. So for example, let's put supermarkets here. Supermarkets, okay? And that's how you create folders within your system. So again, Files, Advanced. Add files to VideoWorks. See that the supermarket folder is already here. Let's label those two materials as commercials. So I'll click OK. I'll select those two materials. See that they are in MXF. I'll click Open. It's already selected them. I'll press OK. And after that, the ingest is done. I'll send update. And the material is here within the system. See that within the system, we have the material code, the activity, the classification, the validity. Okay. So if I'll click here on this material. For example, come here to Files and Details. Here you can modify various information within the system. See here, we have the start of broadcasting and the end of broadcasting. For example, this is useful if your client, they contracted the commercialization, the exhibition, yes, this material in a period until in a certain period of time. So, for example, he registered this, he contracted this commercial for this week, let's say, from the 24th of June to the 30th of June. So we can put here, we will change here in 2025, June the 24th, it started, right? And its end goes until, let's go back here. There is plenty, 2010, 19, 2025, June until G30th. So I set this start of broadcasting and end of broadcasting. What will happen here? When this broadcast ends, if on the 1st of July you try put this material in your script, it will give you an alert saying that this material is expired. Okay? It's saying that the contract for this material has ended. If it gets extended, you come here, change the date and click save. If you insert it into the schedule after it has expired, the system itself won't execute this material as a security measure. Okay? Here in the line of business, we have some activities. Later, you can register more. What is this for? To avoid competition conflicts. So, for example, if you have two supermarkets, supermarket A and supermarket B, and perchance you place one after the other. Okay? So, the system will alert you that you have two competitors that will display in the following manner. So I'll put it here, okay? Let's put it here. Oh, supermarket, this one here, all right? And in this, I will click save. And in this material here, it already shows sector of activity, supermarket. I will also put supermarket here to show you how it appears in the script afterwards. Here, in export code, you can register a code for this material because you will also be able to insert this material into your schedule using the code. You can click and drag it into the schedule, double click, and also insert it using shortcuts. Okay. So here, right, you can change the code. Let's say the code for this material here is 250. You save it and the code is already changed. Okay. So here we did the ingest of a commercial, right? Here, now let me go back inside the folder. Let's do an ingest of a material. Okay, I'm gonna get this film here of additional material. So I come here, drive C, central video, additional material. I will place it here inside this folder called various. Okay, let's go back to our management module and go to registrations, additional materials. Here we will go to files, advanced, add VideoWorks. We come here to additional materials, miscellaneous, now the MP4 material. So I'll select the MP4 here. And I will hit open. It's selected both. I will click OK and the ingest is done. If I refresh, the two materials are already inside the system. Okay, here. In the same way, if you want to create a new additional material, for example, afternoon show. So it's already created here and ready, right? So let's say you want to change this material from the folder, right? You don't want it in this miscellaneous folder. You can come here in files, details, and you change it here to afternoon program. After I save, the transfer to the folder has already been done, okay? You don't need to delete the material and do the ingest again, okay? So we have already done the ingest of the commercial part and the ingest of the additional materials. Now we will really start assembling our script. I'll close these two tabs here. Notice that the materials do not appear here yet. So if I right click, update media, the system will be updated. So here are the commercials, and here will be the two ingesters that we did. I will drag it to the side to make it more visual. Okay. So let's drag here, drag a little here. Let's put it here. Okay. Those calls. So let's start our script. All right. Here within our system, we have three types of scripts. This manual breaks is like a script where you do the layout from your broadcaster. It's like a radio. So I will create this script, then we'll come back to this script, this style of script that we do all within two markers. So I will create here for the 25th, for example. I will save this script here. And this is where we do 24-hour scheduling, okay? So start midnight, yes, in midnight. Let's put it like that. And here it gives me breaks per hour. So this breaks per hour, if I put 4, since it's per hour, it will break it down. It will place a marker every 15 minutes. But if I set it to 2, it will place a marker every 30 minutes. I'll give an OK here so you can see this type of script, all right? So this script here, it's kind of like a radio format. All right, so we started that was all, so you can start setting up your schedule. Each block is 30 minutes, but if you make a block with 32, with 27, with 25 minutes, it's no problem. No, just make your schedule, okay, in the total. Or when you create the schedule, you shall see what is out in the end. It will give you the sum of all the materials, and you will have 24 hours of programming, okay? So let's go. I'll take this material here, then I will add this material. Look, this is what I showed you, where I talked about the issue of competitive conflict, okay? See how it appears here. Supermarket. So it's giving me, look, you are putting two materials from the same line of business. You will have a clash of competition between them. It's not cool to show two competitors in a row, right? So then you can come here in between them. For example, here I don't have material. I'll put this material here between them. Look, I removed the clash of competition, okay? So here we have a commercial, an additional material, and a commercial. Is that right? Let's do the following. I'm going to do one more ingest of a material, of a commercial, to make it more practical to visualize there, okay? Let's see. Let me see here, a shorter material. I'll take this one, okay? So I'll press Ctrl C, block here from the system, central video, commercials, and I'll save it here, okay? Let's return here to the module, commercial, released, add over the works. Now I'm going to place it as filler, okay? It's an MP4, so I'll select it here, do the ingest. Okay, the ingest of this material is done. I'll add a different line of business here to place between them. I'll add this TV and save. So it has a line of business TV, okay? I will update the media. Now, if I come here, there's the placeholder folder. There's this material. Look, I'll drag it here. So there's a competition clash between these two commercials. So I placed another commercial between them to remove the competition clash, right? If you want to preview the material, you can click, I'll go here in commercials, right? For example, you can right click and see that this material here starts with a clapperboard and also with bars. Right after here, it will have a clapboard, right? So we will have to trim it, right? We will have to mark the beginning and end of this material. But within our system, we have an auto trim. The system itself scans the material and makes the in and out cuts, okay? So I'll click on right here, right click, mark beginning and end. The system will scan the material and give me the auto trim marking, providing the starting point and the ending point of the material, all right? Look, it already gave it to me. So I right click and apply registration. So every time, look, it already altered the time of the material, and it's indicating to me that this material is trimmed, okay? So if I put it in the script, oh, look, I'll drag it here, for example, to another block. So here, look, in this block here, I have this block here. It is 24 minutes and 13 seconds, okay? And this block here, it is 30 seconds, all right? So Rush, you are doing the 24 hours of programming according to the your script there from your broadcaster, right? You will fill in each block here. But let's go back to that script, right? To that big block style script, which I think is the most used by everyone. Oh, this is actually a type of script that is coupled, that is integrated with another one of our systems, a commercial management system. So the commercial team has this separate module where they handle the insertion order, register this material, and then proceed with the distribution. So, right, each material will be scheduled for a specific day and time. Then when you generate this type of report, as it is integrated with the commercial department, it will generate for me, it will already bring to the schedule all the materials that have been scheduled by the commercial department. You don't need to manually enter each contracted material, each contracted commercial, okay? So let's go here to this script. Block style, single block, okay? I'll give an okay. I'll save it again, and let's go. Let's start with this trimmed material here. Then comes this one, then this one, okay? Then comes this video. Here inside the system, you can, look, using Shift, I copied these two materials. You can press Control-C. I pressed the Control-V. Look, it passed below that material. You can click and drag, right? For example, I'll press Control-I, which is the shortcut, right? The code for that material we placed was 250. It placed it here in the middle, right? So let's remove it, Control-I. The other code was 192, okay? So, for example, I'm going to place this film here between them to eliminate the competitive shock. Okay, right? So here we are setting up, you know, our schedule for the day according to the material that will be distributed. Okay, and here at the end, it gives you the total time of this script, right? So as I add material, it adds up here, and you'll have the total time of your script. Okay, here within the system, if you right click, you have various information here that you can add within the system. For example, in a commercial, as I told you, due to our system dividing between commercial and additional material, if you add, for example, a logo to load in the commercial, the system will ignore it and won't add that logo. However, in the additional material, for example, let's take this one. If I right click the character generator, adjust the CG item. So, for example, here you can add information on top of this material. For example, you can state that the program was recorded, recorded on such a date or rerun. I want it to appear here in the top left corner with a font size of 40. And here we wanted to say rerun, for example, rerun. Okay. When I click apply, it will show an icon indicating that this material will appear on the character generator. Okay. Here, it also allows you to upload a logo, a PNG, anyway, an animation. So you can also put it in the system, right? It's not just text that it allows. So you can put a graphic on each material within the system. You can save this as a template later and always load this template on the material you want, so as not to always typing for each material. So I'm going to apply it here and click OK. I'll right click.
Right, notice that it reappears. I'll right click and
see that it appears here, the replay that we placed. All right. I'm going to close this preview here. We also have the issue of age rating. So you can set an age rating on the material. Let me change the rating here because it's yellow with yellow there. Let's put 12 years here. Or you can put an age rating on the material. So when this material goes on air, it will automatically display an age rating on the screen, right? Also here in the additional materials, let me update here. You can already go to the registration and set an age rating for the material. So if I put it here, look, it already shows up with an age rating, right? Okay. So every time you add, let me update the media here. So every time you add this material, now in the script, it will automatically pull the content rating. Okay, look, it pulled it here. Let's put it here again. It's already bringing the age rating, right? We also have the issue of trimming, right? You can, for example, if you know the time code of the material, you can change it here. If not, right, you can right click material, right? You drag it to the point you want. If you use the arrow keys on the keyboard, it goes frame by frame, right? Or if you're dragging this little circle here too, it goes frame by frame. Okay, then you right click, mark the start. Let's say here is the exit point, mark the end, and then apply. If I apply, just apply markings here, it will only apply to this material, right? If I apply markings to change registration, this material will already be trimmed. Yes, already within the system. So every time you use this material, it will already have the entry and exit points marked. Okay. I'll just put here the apply markings. So it was only trimmed this exhibition, for example. But this exhibition here is not trimmed in case I had placed here to alter the record. All these films here and two, for example, right, that we are marking the start here, they would already be trimmed within the system. All right. Here we also have the option to divide into fixed parts, right? So, for example, we have a film that is 2 hours long. For instance, if I set it to fixed parts, let's say I enter 4, it will split the material into 4 blocks of 30 minutes. And in each block, right, between the blocks, you can insert your commercial segment. Okay. And also here, look, we have the manual option. Let's say for the first block, I want it to be 25 minutes in 30 seconds. The second 40 minutes in 12 seconds, the third 37 minutes in 40 seconds, and the fourth with the remaining to complete the 2 hours. So it has this option too, okay? For example, well, we have a streaming command, right? Because the system also does streaming. So for instance, I want the transmission of my programming to start on my Sakuki Shirtomage. I put here it will be the test. Let me remove the command. To broadcast, yeah, but just this part of my program to YouTube or Facebook, for example, right? Okay, so I come here, streaming command off. So for example, I have STM on and STM off here. So when this material starts, it will begin streaming to your platform. When this material ends, it will turn off the streaming. So it will stop the streaming transmission there. I am going to clear this setting here, but it also exists within the system.
Is that okay?
Oh, let me remove it. We also have the issue of SCT, okay, which is more focused on the area of Samsung TV, right, from the fast channel. So this SCT will send a command there to Samsung, and Samsung will cover the programming of that material, okay. Here we have the matter that you can put an external signal into your script. So, for example, if you have a studio, you can input the signal from your studio into your programming, right? The software works, the playout works as a mixer as well, right? Which is the famous channel in a box, okay? So, if you have vMix, right, outputting via SDI or NDI, you can enter a program, right, from your studio into your playout. So I will show you here how to configure this. Okay. For example, I have an NDI here on my network, and I'm going to use it as input, right? So I'm putting it here. I can add up to 10 line inputs, right? So you can have up to 10 signals inside the system's internal mixer, and I'm using the NDI. If you had a Blackmagic, you would enter with the signal from your Blackmagic here, and it would appear here link 1, link 2, link 3, link 4. For example, if it were a Duo 2, if it were a Duo quad, right, the one that has 8 inputs, 8 links would appear here, okay? I don't have any links, so I'm going to take the NDI signal to do the demonstration for you, okay, right? But if there were any, it would list them here within the system, okay? And then you will select the output format. Let's put here 1080p 59i, not more. So I will save it. Then after this, on my line 1, I have to have this NDI signal configured. If I went to line 2, I could enter here, for example, with the SDI. In line 3, right, another SDI. So here you're configuring your inputs in the system, okay? Look, it already pulled the configuration. I'll start the device. It's starting, and here's my line 1, right? Then after that, I will save this application. Okay. So for example, to put this signal from line 1 into our script, look, I go to special function, insert pause, open external line, which is a signal capture. And then here I would label it as an external line. All right. All of this is renameable. So you could label it, for instance, let's say it's vmix, Studio 1, Studio 2, satellite. Let's go live you, right? An external signal. Anyway, you can rename all these lines here to make it visually easier. So I'll click OK, and the line is added within the system. Then your programming will run here. When this material finishes, it will fall on this line. Oh, did you finish the studio there? Then you eject the material, and it goes to the next material, and will follow the programming.
All right. This here is through an external line. However, we can also bring in a link within the system.
So here I have a list, M318 on TV Brazil, here in Brazil, right? I'm entering it here into our system. And I'm going to make a link, right, of this streaming here, this M38 with additional material, right? So see here that inside this RTMP link, I have that embedded link. Go here to registrations, additional materials. I'll send an update. And I have here inside this RTMP link, the embedded from this application, okay? So this application links with this material. And when we add this material, it will include this M38 link, okay? I stated here that it has a duration of 6 hours, right? So when I place it here in the schedule, for example, look, I'll place it here and it will fall into this material, stay for 6 hours, and then the programming will continue automatically. Finished 6 hours, it already jumps to this one automatically. Is that okay? As we were activating the material, see the total time of our script was already being added. Is that okay? Here, we also have the option to set a color for each folder, right? So, to make it easier visually, if you want to give each program a color here within the schedule, to make it easier visually for you, you can change this. Right-click Tataco, set a color. Then you select the color here within the system, right? And then you, each material there, each folder, will have a color here within the script, okay? But let me close this. Oh, and besides the system, all of this here, you can change these colors, right, folks? This is a configuration I made for myself, which I find easy to view, but all of this you can change here in settings. Look, you go to settings, color patterns, and here you can change everything. Adjust it to whatever you find best, right? There inside the system. Is that okay? So this was the script we made for today, right? So, right, this was an example of a script. You will continue making your script until you complete your schedule. Let's say you are an affiliate of a station, for example, of TV Brazil. So the station starts the local programming there at 6 in the morning, right? So the first material, I'll give you an example here, right? So at the midnight, this RTMP starts, it goes until 6 in the morning, and then your local programming begins. Okay? Okay. Then, if you need to switch back, you know, after running your local programming, you have to go back to TV Brazil, for example. So we Control-C, Control-V, and it will switch back to TV Brazil. Then we'll have this block here. Then it switches back to local again. See, Control-C, Control-V, it's already pasted, right? You can drag, as I told you. See, it already created another overlap of schedules, right? Put one here in the middle. It's because I don't have much material added here in our system. So there will be few materials in this script as an example. But right, just do the ingest and set up the script according to the station's schedule. Okay? Let me see what else I have for you here. For example, ignore the material if you don't want this material to be played. Okay? Right. Material property. This one, it hasn't been used yet. Let me see this here. The technical information, like the system is set to 0. We haven't run anything. It's not showing yet, okay? So this is the script part, okay, folks? The reports part that I showed you. So here, programming report. I'll put the listing here. Here we have some receipts, right? Yeah, within the system. So I'll put broadcast listing here. I'll open it. And here is a broadcast listing, a date of today, for example, when I did some tests in the system, right? So here you can see that there, the header It's not filled in because I haven't configured the information here. But after filling in all this data here, in the report here, it comes all filled in, okay? And here it will give you everything that was executed on the date, all right? So if I select from the 16th until today, let's see what it will show me. Look, it brought me everything I displayed, okay? And you can filter, for example, oh, I want only what has code 170, for instance. I'll send it to update. Look, it only brings me what's with the code 170. I wanted to have only video. I don't have anything with video. Let's list everything here to get another example. I wanted to only have this here, Informer Young. So come here. I'll put links back, right? All the materials that have been shown from these dates. So the entry time, the date, and the description of the material. Okay. You can export this. You can export, you can print, you can send a PDF. You can send an email to, right, to the client who requested the broadcast report. Okay. So here we generate the report. Okay. Inside the system, we also have a trigger manager where you can set some actions within the system, right? So for example, start the script for the current day, start the script for the day next, close the system, trigger a pause, and so on. Here you have some triggers within the system. However, to use these triggers, you have to use this type of script here, manual breaks, right? Why? Because if I put a trigger here, for example, to start today's schedule, and I wanted to start today's schedule at 6 in the morning, it will use that marker, which here, look, let's set to open schedule, was on the 25th, right? That we have, look at that. I set it up there, right? To trigger the next day's schedule at 6 in the morning, for example. Here I will set the time, okay? So it will rely on this break here, this marker here, to trigger at 6 in the morning, okay? So it has to be this type of script to use this trigger function, all right? Let's open the day script that we were doing. Okay, everyone? So this is the system management module. This module can be on any machine in the network where other users can interact with the system, right? It's not locked to being there in the playout in the technical center, okay? So you will be with your, look, let's open the daily script here, okay? Here, open the daily script, that script we were working on. I'm going to put it here, send it to prepare the file. He already prepared the file, already placed the first frame of the material there within the pigeon. So for example, the playout is running right there in your technical center, but you're in your office. You can open the script here, make changes to the script, and after 1 minute, it will synchronize with the playout. Okay, it will send this script, which was updated here in the manager into the system. However, nothing prevents you from making changes in the script here within the system after it is opened. Guys, here those little folders we created still don't appear. I'll right click, update media. After that, all the materials are already here, right? So everything we did in this module, we can also do here, okay? We mostly use this system here to create the script, right? Let me do let's call it the visual design of the day of the script. And later, if there's a change, it can be done directly here in the playout when it is on air, or here in this management system, which can be on any machine in the network. All right? So I will press play here. Oh, it will start playing. Let me mute here so we can continue the exhibition, right? So the training. Let me remove this audio here. Look. If I right-click devices, look, I'll select here. There, I switched to the other device. So it doesn't interfere because I was listening to the audio, right? So here, you have the progressive and regressive. When 10 seconds are left, it turns red to show you that the material is ending. For example, right here, this line, this pause, for instance, that it is showing me that in 24 minutes and 55 seconds, it will end with this material. So what is this for? Your programming is running there. You will enter with the studio live from the link, for example. So it shows you how much time is left to go leave from the studio. All right.
Okay. If, for example, I drag this down here, look, it updated, it went to 39. So as you make changes, right? Oh, I have to add more materials here. No problem. You can click or double click. Look, there's a conflict clash. Oh, let's remove the conflict clash here. Okay. I'll add a test here. Okay. So it allows you everything we did within the manager. It allows you here. Right click also has all the functionalities. All right. Did you do an ingest? Let's do the ingest again of a material here.
Let me go back to the folder. Look, I'll take this one.
This video one here. All right. Let's put it here in additional material, miscellaneous. I'll put it here, in here. All right. So we go here, registrations, additional materials, files, here, advanced, add new file, various, and this movie. No, it wasn't the movie. It's the other one, right? Details, here, various, this V01, right? Here it's okay. It's done. Let's see here. Look, V01 is already here. If I right click preview, the material is here inside the system. Okay. Oh, I want to put it in the schedule. You click and drag. I can press Control I, code 192, right? Which is the shortcut. Oh, I'm going to press Control I, code 250. Oh, I want to drag the material. You drag the material. Okay. Okay. There's a capacitor. You drag the capacitor, right? So here we have, well, that's it in the systems. Okay. Let's put the link here that I showed you from the from RTMP. Okay, look, I'll put it here after this material. 57 seconds left, right? Let's advance our timeline here to align with the material. Okay, let's see. Look, it aligned with the signal coming in here. Okay, so this signal is coming into my PGN and is sending your satellite signal, for example, on air. Okay. Let me see this here. Here, for example, if a signal is coming in SGI or NGI from the studio, you might want to preview this material before it goes on air, right? You can right click and preview. You can visualize it, right? Before it goes on air, okay? You can preview it, all right? So here, as it has a 6-hour duration to end, when it reaches those 6 hours, it will move to the next material. But I want to leave earlier, right? Just give the eject and it will go to the next material, right? It has already followed the schedule there. Now this one, as it is untimed material, it will fall here, for example. Let me place it here. Let's drag it over here. Okay. Let's drag it here to come in after this material. So with 10 seconds remaining, it turns red, right? To draw attention, to indicate it will go live in the studio, for example. Okay, look, it entered, right? Your live studio there. Well, let it come from the studio or the satellite, anyway, your signal. And it will stay here until someone takes an initiative, right? Takes action. Because it does not have a set time. So for it to continue with its programming, we have to expel this material for it to go to the next one, all right? Okay, another interesting thing here, right? Look, we have the logo, which is here, logo 1 and logo 2. Look, if I deactivate it, it disappears, and logo 2 here as well, okay? Let me open a larger preview here for us to visualize this. So I will activate logo 1, okay? Let me open it here again. See, there is logo 1. In fact, it is an animation, right? It is a movie. So every 2 minutes, it makes an animation there on the screen, okay? And logo 2 is for live, for example. Okay, let me open it here again. So here is for the live, okay? And in our system too, it has the following configuration. The second logo, when it leaves the line and goes to the next material, the system automatically deactivates it because we understand that the live broadcast is over, right? It goes to a commercial or a recorded program, but it's not live. So generally, we do it like this. The first logo, we configure like a watermark, right? And logo 2 as something colorful there. That would be for live broadcast, okay? Right, the text here, you know, nowadays, many people use the program's name, right? The hashtag something. So here it is, program XXXX, right? As it is blank here, right, this video background, but program XXXX appears here. So you can put hashtag morning program, hashtag afternoon program, okay? Here in the GC, if I right click,
it will open the tab here for the GC, right? So we have in our system the L shape, okay? Today it is widely used, this GC scheme. So you can do the L shape in the system. Now, look, so it does the animation and then exits, right? Here we have several models, you know, but all this can be done according to the, how shall we say it, as the colors of the station. Okay, well, look, here we have another one as well. Anyway, so this here, you can also, for example, let's do the following. I'll use this same project here just to show you, okay, that we can put an RSS inside the system. Okay, I'll open here. For example, I'm going to search for RSS here,
a G1, for example, right? So I'm going to get the RSS link here. Okay, let's get the one about Brazil. I'll take this link here. I will click here on news, put it here, and I'll put this link. Okay, I will have a font size 60. Okay, look, so it's here, right? I wanted to keep passing here, but it's out of that range there, right? So we can reduce it. Look, let's put it, leave it passing here. Okay, and here, if you want to add more text, just click here on text. I'll put here test. Okay, you can take it and place this test here. See? Anyway, then you build it according to your CG. This allows many possibilities within the system. Okay, you can add as many layers as you want. So I'll go ahead and save it. And then I will give an OK here to save. All right. Oh, it's the IGC01. So let's update here. I will double click. Look, it's already in and the RSS has already entered. I will open our larger preview here. All right. So look, the information is displaying on the screen with this RSS, right? Which brings in information. Okay. Oh, the logo made an animation. So it is animated too. Let me update this preview. Now let's go to the streaming issue, right? This button here is the streaming command. So here in settings, we can configure a streaming, for example, right? So we have all the protocols within our system. So we have SRT, the RIS now, okay? It's being used. We have the RPMT. And finally, we have HLS. So we have all the protocols within the system. All right. Then you just have to configure it here. When you press this streaming button, it will start generating the streaming, right? Let's go back here to these tabs. Here in general, we have the system in both English and Spanish. Okay. And then here we have some configurations. For example, we have two main outputs of the system, both the main output and the auxiliary output. Like since I don't have any deck link here or an AJA, if I did, it would appear here for you to configure. Deck link 1, for example, or deck link 2, or an AJA card anyway, right? Here you will select the output standard. It goes up to 4K 30p. Okay. Okay. We have for you to listen to the audio preview. So you place your card there, right? The issue of the deinterlacing the video. We have an audio normalizer, so you can normalize the audio within the system. So the output of the system. Okay. We also have an output through a monitor. So you can output via HDMI through a video card from your machine, connect to a monitor, connect to a screen, right? A larger TV to monitor your PGM there inside your system, right? And these two outputs here, they are used for broadcast. So for example, you can use output 1 to connect to your switcher, if you have one, you know, or you can use output 2 to connect to the multi-view in your technical center, your master control, okay? Right, here's what I told you. You can put the hashtag, name of the program. Here you make all the configurations. There is width. You can enter with a fade for the start, a fade for the end when you deactivate, okay? Here are the logos, right? So here I'm entering with the .mov for logo 1, and here with the PNG for logo 2, right? Live. Here is the matter of the age rating where I showed you that the material has a content rating. So here you can select the position on the screen. So it can be top right, top left, bottom,
the time it stays on the screen, the time to exit. So here you make these settings. Is that right? Here we have some integrations with the control panel, right? So here we would use the ports to communicate, okay? And here in advanced settings, we have some shortcuts within the system, right? Like to play, pause, eject, prepare the material, and so on. We have these two, right? Here we have the shadow system. So a backup machine will be mirrored. So everything you do on the main one happens on the backup, okay? So you have the main machine and the backup machine working the same color scheme of the system. So you can change the entire color scheme. Yeah, here, which I showed you at the beginning, right? When we added a line to the material, then you can rename and put the texts, okay? So see, for example, I will right click, insert a capture line. See, okay, I want Studio 3 is coming through is the i3, so you can place it here too, okay? Right? Let's go into settings here. And there's also integration with the Atom, right? Just connect here, enter the IP of your Atom, send to connect, and it will communicate with the Atom and send the commands, okay? So for example, if you want on your Atom, running your program here, for example, and after this material, and the signal from Studio 2 will enter, for example, right? Let's say you are going to work with the Atom, you can insert a pause, control the external switcher line, and here we will set Studio 2, all right? Then it will arrive here, it will have this material, and it will send a signal to the Atom.
You know, they're at input 2 of the Atom, and that signal will go to the output of the Atom. Okay?
Okay? You can control a console through the system, right? This system here is the famous channel box, you know, where we're entering a signal within the script. So it works as a channel box, right? So here we have the issue of the material's duration, the entry time, and the exit time. All right.
Here we have in this script we made, it will end at 9:17 and 30 seconds. The output is in full HD, okay?
Let me see what else we have here. For example, over there with Atom, right? If it were connected to a disk, as you click on these buttons, you send commands to make the cut on the disk, okay?
Let me see what else. Let me see what we have here. For example, I want to create a segment, right? Well, I made this segment for the beginning and end of programming, this type of script, but I wanted to, at 3 o'clock, I have a block, for example. So I can click with Control B, type the name of the block here, 3 o'clock block, afternoon show, okay? And here is the 3 o'clock block, right? So here you create a block, and then after this block here, let's say the signal of this material here will come in, right?
Yeah. Let me drag it here.
Here, so this link will come in, or, right, if it's the Studio one, for example, let's say here that it's Studio 2, for example, right? Studio 2 will come in here at 15 hours, okay? So here, right, you will build your schedule. Let's remove this short so I can eat this one. Also showing you that there's the trim feature here too. Look, I removed this here. Everything we did in there in the from the manager, we also have inside in VideoWorks. All right. So if I right click, I only have auto trim, edit profile, expand the preview. You can see a bigger preview. Okay. All audio channels, system, time code. If I want to go through here frame by frame. All right. There is also this arrow here for marking the point. Correct, right? Well, folks, so this is it, okay? This here is our system, the VideoWorks. Yes, I hope that I hope everything was clear regarding its usage, registration, how to create a script, how to build a script, and all the system functionalities. Okay, everyone, thank you very much, and see you next time.